Join me as I dive into the chaos of the First Punic War and challenge myself to reenact the most intense battles between Rome and Carthage. The First Punic War was a pivotal moment in ancient history, a clash of two superpowers that would shape the Mediterranean for centuries to come. Rome and Carthage, two powers with distinct cultures and strengths, found themselves at odds over the strategic island of Sicily. This conflict would be the first of three Punic Wars, setting the stage for a centuries-long struggle between these two great civilizations. The central challenge of the First Punic War was the control of Sicily, a strategic island that both powers coveted. Sicily's fertile lands and key ports made it a prized possession, and both Rome and Carthage were determined to claim it. The war began in 264 BC, when Rome intervened on behalf of the Mamertines, a group of Italian mercenaries who had seized the city of Messina. Carthage, which had long been the dominant power in the Mediterranean, saw this as a threat to its interests and responded with force. The war would rage on for 23 years, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Rome's initial weakness at sea was a significant disadvantage, but they adapted and developed their naval capabilities. The Carthaginians, led by skilled generals like Hanno and Hamilcar, had a strong navy and excellent cavalry. Despite these strengths, they faced significant challenges, including the difficulty of maintaining supply lines across the sea. The Romans, on the other hand, had a large and well-organized army, but they struggled to project power across the water. As the war dragged on, both sides became increasingly exhausted, but neither could afford to give up. The stakes were too high, and the winner would gain control of the Mediterranean. Sicily was just the beginning, as the war would eventually spread to other parts of the Mediterranean. The First Punic War was a clash of titans, with both sides determined to emerge victorious. The war saw the introduction of new technologies and tactics, including the corvus, a boarding bridge that allowed Roman ships to grapple and board Carthaginian vessels. The key battles of the First Punic War were a testament to the skill and determination of both sides. The Romans developed the corvus, which gave them a significant advantage in naval battles. The Carthaginians, on the other hand, had skilled generals and a strong navy. The war at sea was brutal and intense, with both sides suffering heavy losses. On land, the Romans had the upper hand, but the Carthaginians were able to hold their own. The war was a series of bloody and brutal battles, with both sides giving it their all. The Romans were ultimately able to gain the upper hand, but it was a hard-won victory. The Carthaginians were fierce warriors, and they fought to the very end. The war was a defining moment in Roman history, marking the beginning of their rise to dominance. The Romans had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and they would go on to conquer much of the known world. The First Punic War was a pivotal moment in history, shaping the course of the ancient world. The war had a profound impact on both Rome and Carthage, leading to significant changes in their societies and cultures. The war also saw the rise of new leaders, including the Roman general Regulus and the Carthaginian general Hanno. The First Punic War was a complex and multifaceted conflict, with both sides experiencing moments of triumph and tragedy. The turning point of the war came with the Battle of Aegae's Islands, which ultimately led to Carthage's defeat. This battle was a decisive victory for the Romans, and it marked a significant shift in the balance of power. The Carthaginians had been dominant at sea, but the Romans had developed new technologies and tactics that gave them an advantage. The Battle of Aegae's Islands was a brutal and intense conflict, with both sides suffering heavy losses. In the end, the Romans emerged victorious, and the Carthaginians were forced to surrender. The war was finally over, and the Romans had won a hard-fought victory. The Battle of Aegae's Islands was a testament to the skill and determination of the Roman navy. The Romans had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with at sea, and they would go on to dominate the Mediterranean for centuries. The Carthaginians, on the other hand, were weakened and demoralized, and they would never fully recover from their defeat. The Battle of Aegae's Islands was a pivotal moment in history, shaping the course of the ancient world. The war had a profound impact on both Rome and Carthage, leading to significant changes in their societies and cultures. The war also saw the rise of new leaders, including the Roman general Regulus and the Carthaginian general Hanno. The First Punic War was a complex and multifaceted conflict, with both sides experiencing moments of triumph and tragedy. The war was a defining moment in Roman history, marking the beginning of their rise to dominance. The First Punic War not only ended with Rome's victory, but also marked the beginning of Roman dominance in the region. This victory set the stage for future conflicts, including the Second Punic War, which would see the rise of Hannibal. Rome's dominance would last for centuries, shaping the course of Western civilization. The war had a profound impact on the Roman Republic, leading to significant changes in its society and culture. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient history, be sure to check out our next video on the Second Punic War, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.